Agriculture-themed commercials are growing like a high-yield crop in the advertising world. This is Rural Roots Canada, and I'm Eric Smith, getting to the stem and meat of agriculture. Ben Graham, managing partner of AdFarm Canada, tells me we have seen an increase in the number of ads with roots in agriculture.
We are seeing a trend in advertising and marketing communications towards communicating more from the farm to the consumer that is actually consuming the food that is produced, especially here in Western Canada. I believe that there's a lot going on. Consumers want to become more educated on what they are consuming. There's a lot more awareness and knowledge of what happens when things go in your body and are consumed by us as humans. One of the challenges that they have is trying to gather information. And by creating this dialogue between the producer and the consumer, we're getting more of a relationship and a knowledge of where our food comes from.
Graham says companies work hard at creating positive agricultural ads.
Today, when you look at the evolution of agricultural technology and what's going on in that relationship between the producer and the consumer and the channels that live between them, we're seeing an interesting trend where companies as big as McDonald's are working really hard to convey the nutrients that they put into their food to their end consumer. Here at AdFarm, we're doing a little bit of work with companies like McDonald's to try and ensure that the message that they are conveying to the consumer is accurate and conveying Canadian agricultural in a proper fashion. With companies like Frito-Lay, many people have seen the Frito-Lay potato chip commercials where they focus on the farmer that actually produced the potatoes that created the chips. Trends like that I don't think are going away. I think that gives a real aspect to the quality and safety of the food, and it also gives a grown local element to it as well. And I think that's a big, 2 or 3 big components of what consumers are looking for, especially the educated consumer when it comes to food consumption.
Graham says this is no passing trend, and we can expect agricultural-themed commercials to be around for a long time.
It'll be interesting. I doubt it's going to be a trend. I think as we move forward under our regulatory environment, the need for global demand for food, both our domestic demand here, I believe that we're going to see this continue in the long term. The reason is that people are going to become more educated. The web has allowed information to transfer more readily and in an instantaneous fashion. And people and information are only going to want to have more and more and more. Creating an environment where the consumer can find out all they need to know about where their food came from, who the farmer was that produced it, the quality of food that they get, and how safe the food is, I think will make this a trend that will continue for the long term.
In the next episode, we'll look at how advertising in the agriculture sector is changing. For Rural Roots Canada, I'm Eric Smith, getting to the stem and meat of agriculture.